Hey everybody, how's it going today? Let's go over the bulky Monster Strike news that came out today, December 28th, 2020. Let's start right away because there's a lot of stuff. I actually skipped a lot of the first part of the news just because it's basically a review of the last Monster Strike news. So if you haven't looked at that yet, please go ahead and check that video. I am not going to review that stuff. However, the only thing that I did highlight from all of that was the fact that the Tower of Champions is available right now. This is January's Tower of Champions. It is just pushed early so that you have the opportunity to get those orbs early for the new gacha, of course. And of course, one last reminder that this is the last opportunity to complete the Jades, Fuin no Gyokuro. So if you want to do that, make sure you do that by the end of this session, because it will not be coming back after this. We don't know what the replacement is, so we'll have to see what they're planning in the future, if at all. Next is we are now going to know what exactly is going to be coming for the end of the year special gachas. There will be 3 different gachas available, one on the 29th, one on the 30th, and one on the 31st. So let's go over each of them in detail. So on December 29th, you'll be getting the first Get Gacha. This guarantees that you are getting a new monster. It also includes limiteds as possible monsters that you can get from this gacha. So you can see here that you only get one chance at this, and again, let's make this clear, it costs orbs and you have to do a temple. It's not you can do a single pull or anything. It's one single temple that you can do only once. And of course, it's not a guaranteed limited, it's just possible you can get limiteds from this, but it is guaranteed that it'll be a monster that you do not have in your box. Absolutely. On December 30th, you'll be getting the 2020 debut monster gacha, and this comes in 2 phases. This is a step up gacha. Only monsters that debuted in 2020 will be coming out of this monster. If you get a 5-6 star monsters, of course you will get the 4-5 star monsters that are, just always there. But this is talking about those 5-6 star monsters. They will all be 2020 debut monsters. Very important point. Now, let's look at those details real quick. It, of course, costs orbs. Need to be clear about that. But it does guarantee 1 6-star monster on each of the gachas you pull. This also includes all newly added limited monsters. So anybody, literally anybody that made a debut. This also includes time-limited monsters that were introduced in 2020. So if any of those are monsters that you would like, one of those you will be able to get for each pull you do. Now, you get 2 opportunities to pull on this gacha. The first pull, you can see in blue, only includes monsters that were introduced from January 1st to June 30th. Yeah, 30 days in June, yeah. Once you do that, you get 1 guaranteed monster that debuted in the first half of 2020. Then it turns into a second half of 2020 gacha. The second temple only includes monsters added from July 1st to December 31st. Now, of course, that doesn't include the new monster because, well, it's the 30th. So I guess it's only up to the 30th because that's when this gacha is here. But keep that in mind. The pool completely changes from your first temple to the second temple. All right? So, and you only get 1 opportunity to pull on each. You don't get to select, you don't get to pick the order. The first temple is the first half of the month. The second temple is the second half of the month. And you only get 1 opportunity to pull a 10 shot on each. And again, let me say it one more time, it costs orbs. Alright, next, on December 31st, we get the All-Stars gacha, and I'm sure everybody was expecting this. This, of course, is again split into 2 steps. The first temple guarantees you 2 monsters. Not necessarily new, not necessarily limited, but they are in the pool. The second temple guarantees you 3 6-star monsters. 2 of them could be anything, but that last one is guaranteed to be a limited monster. Again, none of these are guaranteed to be new, but that is a guaranteed limited monster on that second temple. Again, this is a step up gacha, so you have to do that first temple first, and then do that second temple. Very important, right? So this will be available on New Year's Eve, December 31st, Japan time. And again, it costs orbs, 50 for the first, 50 for the second. Now, let's go back to the summary thing here. So if you want to do all of these special gachas, this will cost you 5 10 pulls. That is 250 orbs if you are interested in doing that. And most importantly, that the 30th and the 31st are both step up gachas. So if you want the second half of that gacha, you need to spend 2 10 pulls worth to get to that second one, right? So keep that in mind whether you decide whether or not you want to pull on these gachas, because they are fairly tempting gachas, right? I'm not so sure about the December 30th gacha. This might take some analysis to see if it's actually worth pulling. If you have a bunch of specific monsters that of course debuted on that first half or the second half, maybe it is something you want to consider, because the chances of getting that monster will probably never ever be that high, right? Because of the pool of monsters are much more smaller. So if you want a specific monster, that single individual rate for that monster is probably the highest it's ever going to be in that gacha. So that might be a tempting point. We'll see. And of course, the fact that you can get a limited monster with that second temple, guaranteed to get a limited monster is there. However, do keep in mind that the pool of limited monsters is fairly wide. So a little bit scary, but again, one chance to get all the monsters at in one shot. You don't get that opportunity very often. All right, and of course, to celebrate the fact that you're probably going to be pulling for a lot of monsters, you'll be getting 20 box space in total. Based on New Year's Eve, you'll get 10, and New Year's Day, you will get 10 for a total of 20 box space for free, which is always cool to see. And of course, here's what you've been waiting for, the New Year's details. Of course, the New Year's event starts on January 1st and will last until January 4th, 11:59 a.m. Japan time. And just like last year, when you do a gacha pull, you will get 5 additional items in addition to the 5 stones that you normally get for each temple. You can see that this year we are also getting Miracle Mins as part of the stock of possible prizes. You'll just get 5 of those randomly. You could get dupes. You could get all different. We don't know. And if you only do single pulls, you'll get those Morlings instead. So you definitely want to do temples. Now, let's take a look at those New Year's costumes that'll be coming this year. We've got Excalibur looking very nice there, as well as Sherlock Holmes in a nice New Year's outfit. So while you are pulling for the new Transcension, you can see I've spoiled it a little bit there. New limited monster. You will be able to aim for that. And you should take a look at the video if you haven't already. It's pretty awesome. But the new limited monster for 2021 will be Arsene, and that is Arsene Lupin. And she is, of course, a master thief. And she is a dark type. So let's take a look at her 2 Transcensions. This is a first. We are not getting an Evo or Ascension form for this limited. We are straight out getting a split Transcension for her. We see that the first one here, we've got Arsene in her Anarchy mode, and the second form is Arsene in her Phantom mode. And they're both dark types, so we've got 2 potential forms that we are looking for here. And her pre-Transcension form is looking really nice as well. So, of course, to pull for Arsene, that will be taking place on January 1st, midnight on the dot. Now, of course, when you do that, expect the servers to be hit very hard. That is no surprise. It is always the case. And, of course, they always warn you, if you want to buy orbs, make sure you buy them ahead of time. Because not only Monster Strike it's not the only game that's going to be doing a big event on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, or the day after, right? So all these other games are going to be doing something similar. So the servers on Google and Apple side will be hit pretty hard on top of Monster Strike itself. So if you are set on spending orbs, buying orbs, do it ahead of time. I'll be sending a reminder out because Monster Strike will be doing the same on Twitter as well. Just keep that in mind. Alright, so let's go into the stats for Arsene. And I think... Ooh, it's a little bit cut off, so let me move that. Okay, so let me zoom in a little bit because there's a lot of details here. Okay, so Arsene here for her Anarchy mode. She is a bounce speed type, and she has no gravity barrier, no warp, and first killer on her main. We'll talk about that in a bit. On the gauge, we've got super null speed down wall. Again, we'll talk about that later. Repeat hit slayer and strike shot boost, which we'll also talk about later. Well, let's talk about those now. So you can see that she has 3 null abilities, right? Gravity barriers, warps, and speed down walls. We definitely see a lot of speed down walls lately, so it's becoming more and more important to make sure that we can handle. But she has 3 new abilities that we need to talk about. So first, let's talk about the first killer. What this does is basically, if you remember Nirai Kanai's strike shot, how that works is the first enemy it hits, that class becomes the target for extra damage. And every time that Nirai Kanai moves around, if any other monsters has the same class as the first monster you hit, they will take extra damage. We've basically turned that strike shot into a skill. So what happens for Arsene in her Anarchy mode is the first monster she hits becomes the target of slaying that class, right? So she basically takes that, and she'll be moving around doing extra damage to any monsters that have the same class. And she keeps that ability until the start of her next turn. So her bump combos are also going to be taking advantage of that Slayer all the way until her next turn. So that basically means the first monster you hit with Arsene is going to be very, very important, right? You got to make sure that you do not hit something like a drone first or something, right? You want to make oh, I don't know if drones count as a Slayer target. I think it does. But anyways, this is pretty big, I think. Like the fact that that Slayer will keep going, and you essentially have some power to target what that Slayer point is going to be, right? It's a little bit different from Counter Slayer, where you have to get hit by a particular monster and that becomes your target, right? You are going and touching a monster and then that becomes the target, which is very big, I think. If we go to the gauge, super null speed down wall, this shouldn't be a surprise. You'll speed up when you hit a speed down wall. Instead of going down, you go up. So that's pretty cool. And strike shot boost is the other new ability there. And basically what this does is it reduces Arsene's strike shot count by 1 for each enemy killed on your turn. Right? Note that it's on the gauge, so of course it means when you make your move, when you or a monster ends up dying on that stage on your turn, you get 1 strike shot count reduced, which is potentially pretty big, right? You can probably cycle this strike shot pretty fast, so that's pretty interesting to see. Now for strike shot, it is a 20+8 turn strike shot, and what she does is she will go through walls, bash, right, lock on, hit that first monster, and then kick it up for a set amount of damage. Now we'll have to see what that the damage count is going to be for the kick up. It is usually a static amount, but with Slayers on top of that, I expect that to be an insane value. So it'll be probably pretty darn strong and good, and we'll have to see how fast you can cycle that strike shot, given her first killer strike shot boost ability. And her bump combo is a cross bombing, so that plane that goes, basically it's a cross version of that, so even more chance to do extra damage, and a reflect shockwave 12 on her sub bump combo. But again, since it is a Transcension, it's not really a sub bump combo. It is going to be full power, which is pretty strong. Oh, door. Where did I go? Alright, let's take a look at Phantom form of Arsene. This is the second Transcension that she gets. She's got a nice little hat there sitting on her throne. She is a Pierce Blast type, and her ability is Null Gravity Barrier, Super Null Wind, and Protection, which basically ignores small damage, right? Excalibur had that ability. Gauge ability is Null Block, Null Speed Down Wall, and Dash. So nothing new in terms of the abilities, but again, we got Gravity Barrier, Wind, Block, and Speed Down Wall. So 4 nulls is pretty strong, so she should be quite versatile with that skill set on her kit. Strike Shot is an 8+8 turn Strike Shot, which is really fast, and what it does is it increases the rank of all items on screen by 1 level, absorbs all of those items after increasing its rank, and then speed power up. So, I mean, keep that in mind, you know, any sword that are on stage, any hearts that are on stage, any gauge items, speeds, you know, Strike Shot speed ups, that's pretty powerful for an 8+8, honestly. So we'll have to see what this multiplier is, but I expect it to be pretty ridiculous as well. I mean, it is a limited, you know, New Year's monster, so we'll have to see how that looks like. But it's a very interesting Strike Shot to have on a quick, you know, cooldown. The bomb combo, first one is Power Drive. We'll talk about that in a second, and Marking Bomb is her sub bomb combo. Now, Power Drive is, now you probably want to watch the video to see that in action. You know, they just explained it, so I could be a little bit off. But what it sounds like is when you bump into Arsene, she'll push some kind of object to the wall, and then on that wall it'll fire 2 pulses, and that pulse basically will rotate around the outer wall of the stage, and basically any monster that is nearby that wall will take the bump combo damage. Now keep in mind that's 2 pulses, so each will only do 1 revolution, but you're essentially getting 2 hits out of that. And basically Rex was saying that they basically melt. Any monsters that are around the stage will melt. So it sounds like it's going to be a ridiculous attack as well. And the important thing is, since it is going against the wall, any monsters that are in the middle of the stage won't be taking that much, or won't be taking damage at all. So do keep that in mind. Again, you should really watch the video when it comes out on the official channel to see Arsene in action. And I just want to be clear that these forms are Transcensions, Jushinka, not Evo Ascended like we've normally seen in the past. So very, very interesting development there. Now, if you watched the Monster Strike news, you saw that Arsene was fighting this mecha type monster at the end. Well, Mega Justice is his name, and he will be coming in game as a new Chokyukyoku Insidious quest. And that quest will be coming every Choju Shinsai. So it's another one of those Legends quests. So, you know, take it on, see if you can complete it. Its first drop will be coming on January 1st, 21 o'clock Japan time. And like I said, it will reappear every Jushinsai, Choju Shinsai. And of course, what's a new monster without some Twitter campaigns? They're going to be, you know, asking you to retweet the PV, right, promotion video. I'm sure that'll be an in-game mission that you'll just get a nice reward out of. And there's also a little Twitter, you know, retweet which form of Arsene you liked better. Based on the winner of that event, everybody in-game will be getting an item. If the Anarchy mode wins, everybody will be getting a Miracle Min. If the Phantom form wins, everyone will be getting Erebetter Bell. So whether or not you actually like one, if you like an item more than the other, why not go for that? And of course, we talked about it on the last Monster Strike news, but there will be a live stream to you know, countdown to the new year. It'll also include that bingo game, so it'll pull the balls there and figure out who the winners are. And if you have questions about the bingo event, you know, make sure you watch the previous video, because all of that is there. And oh my god, when I saw this, I was like, okay, there's still a lot more. And Oh well, of course we have to celebrate the new year. It is the year of the ox, and basically, um, not only does each year have a animal, it also has like a modifier in front of that. So this year it is Kanotoushi, and of course that goes in the front of the name of the monster that we are going to be farming. This is Kanotoushi Milk, and she will be available from January 1st to January 9th as a limited time quest. Of course, Kanoto and Ushi it makes up the name, so we're basically going to be farming her for the first week of the new year, if you want. In addition to her, there is going to be an Oracoin event that begins on January 1st, so if you want to start getting these items, they are there for you right at noon on the new year. And basically we're going to be taking on this Pochibukuro quest, that cute little doggy there. Dog? I think it's a dog. But basically you're going to be running this quest over and over, collecting Aura coins, and like it has been in previous years, when you do co-op, the boss will drop coins, and the more people you do co-op with, you'll get even more coins at the end of the stage. So again, this is very much promoting co-op play, so if you haven't already, make sure you find other people to play with, join the Discord, use Game With, our classic options to start farming. And of course, to give you even more incentive to play the event, every day they will be giving you one orb for clearing one stage. So I mean, all you have to play is one time per day for 13 days, and you're gonna get 13 orbs from the new year. So I'm sure that'll help recover all of your spent orbs if you did spend them all. But it is an easy quest, so even somebody who has just started, this is very much an event that you can participate in. And the 3 monsters that you can get from the Oracoin event are New Year Kid. We got something Gozen and Hatsuhi are there. Shoshun? I don't know. Anyways, I mean, they're pretty good art. So, and if I think I did see that there was an upload or download of data in game, so you can probably see their details to see if it's worth it or not. And of course, last year's monster Chumi is going to be back as well through the Oracoin event. You can exchange for her, and if you get 99 more luck of her, you can fuse her with her previous max luck form, or if you need to do it, max luck her first and then fuse 99 more luck to give her an Ableberry badge. So you should be able to do that, which is cool. And like always, you can exchange those coins for in-game goods. Of course, the 4 monsters I talked about earlier, the newer ones, 100 coins a piece. Each coin is worth 100, by the way. And Chumi is worth 300. You can also get orbs items. Again, the orbs, you're gonna have to spend at least 100,000 coins before you can get that 20 orb reward. You can't just straight up buy 5,000, get 5,000 and run. So keep that in mind. But there's also very, very powerful items like those scrolls, the Waku Waku stick as well are other options. And just like it is in previous years, there will be a daily item on sale that you can get once per day. So make sure you log in every day to see what that rotational item is going to be. And this seems like always the case. There are always going to be some alternate strike shot voices for Mega Justice, the new limited Arsene, and of course the new costumes for Excalibur and Sherlock Holmes will be available with the Oracoin event. So make sure you don't miss out on that. Now, separate from that, they are going to bring back the old metal monsters. If you missed out on those, maybe you forgot, they will be coming back. And I guess if you want the opportunity to max luck them, you could also be metal coin farming. Maybe the Oracoin event is a possible target to do that. But they will be available for the duration of January 2021. So if you want to get them again, make sure you do that before they go away. Also note that they will be getting buffs, so we'll have to see how much of a buff they will be getting and whether or not they make them a game changer worth max lucking even. All right. So it's not over yet because there's a new Gouztesu coming. It is Division. Um, and you know, if you want to take him on, his first drop will be happening on January 2nd, 19 o'clock Japan time. So take that opportunity to start off the new year with some dividing. And oh my god, there's a new event coming. It will start on January 4th. But so do note that this new event will be overlapping the Oracoin event. So the new year is going to be quite busy. So do be careful about that and don't get too, over, burned out, because there's going to be a lot of stuff to do with the new year in Monster Strike. It is the weapon series. It is the 6th part of that series, and I guess to help people out who are probably going to be emptying out their orb count, there will be a special pack available at 4,900 yen. That will guarantee you one of those 3 new monsters that are coming with the Weapons 6 series, and on top of that you will be getting 50 orbs, so you could be doing a temple, plus after getting that guaranteed new monster, not new monster, yeah, it's guaranteeing you one of those 3 that we saw earlier. And for the event drop monster, the Chokyu Kyoku will be featuring Emari, so you can be farming for her. Now let's take a look at those monsters. We got Lucky Hammer, which is Uchide no Kozuchi, and I looked it up on Wikipedia real quick, and apparently this hammer, whatever you wish for, it just stamps it. When you stamp it with the hammer, it just comes into existence. So there's a few translations. I picked Lucky Hammer. It is a bounce blast type, and he will have null damage roll, null wind, robot slayer M on the main with null block on the gauge. Strike shot is it will delay all hit enemies, and that's at a 20+4 turn kit. And the bump combos will be super pierce homing 18 with super meteor on the bump. And basically this is a Lorelei wannabe, so we'll see how that looks in the fire form. Slayer is of course on the main, so that's always a good sign to melt any robot type monsters. Not bad, but got a lot to live up to. Alright, next up is Trident. She is a wood type, and she is a pierce speed monster. All of her abilities are on her main. It is super null warp, Demon's Bane else, and drain. So Demon's Bane on the main, of course, means that the bump combos are going to be taking that extra damage, and boy, those bump combos, look at that. You got lock on Trident Laser, EL, and wall set Trident Laser. And of course her strike shot is also Trident related. It fires a Trident Laser every time you hit a wall. So this is a Trident Laser beast, and as long as the stage does not have that laser barriers, she's probably going to do a lot of damage, especially since enemies tend to have a lot of enemies are Demon's Bane targets, right? We got demons and demon mancers, I think, so should be able to melt a lot of monsters with her. And since her ability is all on the main, there's no gauge for her. Very blind flick monster, right? So now of course the downside, she only has null warp. Does limit her ability to shine in difficult stages, but if it's only warp, she can probably melt that stage like nothing. In the light, why are you not staying there? Alright, well, Excel's not playing nice with me right now, but there you go. We got Vorpal Sword as a light monster. She is a Pierce Balance type monster. She will have null damage roll, null warp, and gauge multiplier retainment. Again, this is even if you miss your gauge, you will get the full multiplier that a gauge shot gives. And of course, unsurprisingly, her gauge ability is null block, an ability that you tend to want to miss on purpose quite often. Strike shot is clears all hit enemies attack up, defense up, counter mode, or anger state. Just resets that monster back to normal, which is always cool to see. This bump combo is Rampage Laser EL with Chozetsu slash strong stuff. And of course, the standard event monsters that you'll see on the schedule. You got Mochinaga Usugoro, and Yakko. So be able to farm that if you want. Transcension goes to Liberty for next week, and that gives you a Bounce Blast monster with Minesweeper L, null damage wall on the main, null speed down wall, recovery M on the gauge. Pretty decent skill kit, I think. Strike Shot is a follow-up meteor on all hit enemies, and the damage scales based on the hit count for that turn. So it's not the amount of monsters you hit, but that hit number that shows up on the top right. So you're gonna want to have a monster that can just blast that number up to like the hundreds to do a lot of damage. The bump combos, you got Reflect Shockwave 12 and Mid-Range Poison Spread 9 to help out. And I think that's a pretty solid set there. And I forgot to put the date, but of course it's not this Tuesday, but the next Tuesday that you'll see this Transcension available. And just a small thing before we wrap up, there will be a New Year's lottery. You'll be able to accept this lottery ticket once you log in-game on January 1st, 4 a.m. And basically it'll take you need to click a link to the site. It'll give you a number. If your numbers are picked, you'll be getting in-game or real life rewards, or as a consolation prize, in-game rewards. Really simple. Just you'll be able to see it in game. If you have a question, just let me know. But I'm sure it'll be clear on January 1st. And oh my god, that was super long, 30 plus minutes. I'm sorry, but wow, that was a lot of stuff to go over. Next Monster Strike news is January 7th, so nothing else this week. So don't wait for that. Well, I guess Thursday night there will be a live stream to count down to the new year. Yeah, well, adjust for your time zone. And but next Thursday we'll have Monster Strike news at the usual time and go over then. So that's a lot of stuff. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I'll make sure to answer them as best as I can. That was a lot of stuff. I need a drink of something after this, but yeah. If you like what you saw, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, please. You'll be guaranteed to get these kind of news reports after each news. So do make sure you follow up on that. Otherwise, follow the ENG Monst Twitter account. All of these screens are available for you to review there. Otherwise, join the Discord channels to talk with other people. Occasionally, I'm there all the time. So just see if I'm there to comment as well. But thank you for watching if you're still here. I know that was a lot, but until next time, bye-bye.